guys? It's Dragon Ball for Life here. This is my first YouTube video ever, so I'm gonna be stuttering, I'm gonna be stumbling over my words, I'm gonna be going back and forth, so just bear with me. I'm usually, I usually don't do this type of stuff. I'm usually camera shy, so yeah. Okay, today I want to talk about the Dragon Ball multiverse and why technically it's not a multiverse. Now, what is a multiverse? A multiverse is every parallel universe, basically every decision we make, whether it's to get breakfast in the morning or just go directly to school or whatever, it branches off a different universe or reality where we chose a different option. That's what it basically means. And the multiverse is basically the collection of all these parallel universes that are created from our decisions that we make. And in that itself, that's why I don't think the Dragon Ball world is a multiverse. The reason why I say this is due to the fact that they have to be parallel and have to be off of decisions made. And there's more to it. One problem, and I know a lot of people are like, well, they've said it before that there's the Dragon Ball multiverse. But the problem with that is that was only in the English dub. If you watch the original Japanese version, the Japanese sub, they never once called it the multiverse. They called it the omniverse, which is correct term because omniverse means all. Omni means all and verse, so it's all universes. But to call it multiverse, it's more specific than that. For it to be a multiverse, it has to be parallel worlds. But we've seen within the 12 Dragon Ball universes that they're not really parallel. Only 2 of each collection are somewhat parallel. For example, Universe 6 and 7. You basically see from whatever adds up to 13, 1 through 12, 11 through 2, so you get where I'm coming from. And those ones are usually parallel, but even that is not as parallel. It's considered a twin universe. What's the difference between twin and parallel? Well, for me, the difference between twin and parallel, from what we've seen, is a parallel world will not only have the same planets, same races, but it will have the same people. So you'll find your own doppelganger in a parallel world. But these twin universes, they do have the same planets, they do have the same basically races and stuff, but they don't have the same characters. There's not a Goku doppelganger or Vegeta doppelganger. And I know some people say, well, what about Kefla? She's like a Vegeta one. But no, they're not literally doppelgangers of them, like different versions. They're just characters that have the same characteristics as these characters. So that's different. You're not going to find another Goku in Universe 6 or Piccolo, but you won't find the same race. So I think that's where the difference is, and it can get a little confusing. I get it. That because you're like, well, if they have the same race and they have the same planets and basically the same cosmology, wouldn't they be just parallel? But technically they don't have the same people. It's not just the histories changed there, it's the people that's also different. So that's also a big problem. Already there's a problem because these ones are not having doppelgangers, which is a part of the parallel stuff. And on top of it, the biggest problem is this only works for 2. All these other universes are different from one another. For example, Universe 7 and 12, not the same. Universe 7 and 11, not the same. Universe 7 and 3, not the same. Only 2 are paired up. So technically it can't be a multiverse. A multiverse would have to be the collection of all parallel worlds. But in Dragon Ball sense, only 2 planets are actually kind of similar, but they do have differences, more differences than what a parallel world would have. So technically, it can't be a multiverse for 2 reasons. One, they all have to be parallel, which they're not. Only 2 of each are. And even those 2 of each do not have doppelgangers. They have similarities like race and, the same planets, but they don't have the same characters there. So that doesn't count. And yeah, I know it says multiverse in the, English dub version all the time, but the English dub version, the translations are always wonky at best. Whereas in the Japanese version, they never mentioned it once. So there's where the problem comes. And like I said, it can't be a multiverse. If you look at Marvel or DC, and you look at the multiverse, they're all the same, like basically universes, but just written differently, and they have the same characters there. But Dragon Ball doesn't follow that method, which I do think is cool, I actually like that more. I think the parallel world and, multiverse stuff is kind of lazy. It's a way for writers to simply just basically make the same characters, but say, what if they were this, what if they're that? And that's cool sometimes, but it seems lazy to me. They're just redoing the same characters, just changing them a little bit here and there. And that's why I love this idea. And also, I don't like the fact that people say it's a multiverse. One, because it's wrong, and two, because it just makes it less like interesting if it was a multiverse. So no, it's not a multiverse. When the universes are threatened, it's not a multiversal threat. It's, I guess you would consider an omniversal threat or a multiple universe threat. But I want to consider multiverse. There's no real Dragon Ball multiverse. And like I said, I like this more than DC or Marvel or other, like, you know, fictional worlds. Because usually they use this all the time and it kind of gets generic and there's nothing unique about it. Now, that's basically all I have for this video, but I will be making another video talking about multiverse theory and my feelings towards it and how I feel about it, because even though theoretically scientists say that it's true, not all scientists believe it. And me personally, I have my own feelings about it, and I want to get into why I feel certain ways about the multiverse and how I would feel if it was actually real, not in fiction. So with that being said, have a good day, have a good life, and remember, this was my first time.